Hey everyone, and welcome back. The Hemispheric Institute at New York University and the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance have partnered up together to honor dancer, choreographer, my dear friend, Arthur Avilés. The series entitled Naked Vanguard, the Arthur Avilés Archive in Motion, will consist of conversations, performances, and video documentation spanning Avilés' decades-long career and more. Joining us to tell us more, we welcome dancer, choreographer, Arthur Avilés, and NYU Hemispheric Institute Director, Ana Dopico, who is also the first Latina to serve in that role. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome. Congratulations is in order for both of you.
Thank you. I mean, wow, what a pleasure and what an honor for me to have been asked to go into my dungeon and to have the Hemispheric Institute visit that and be able to kind of unearth some dance pieces and some performance pieces that would not have seen the light of day if they had not done it. So I'm truly grateful to the Hemispheric Institute for making sure that that history, that kind of Latino history, that Bronx Latino history, stay alive and stay present. So I'm totally grateful to Ana and the crew.
Anna, what made you the Hemispheric? He just has such a way with words, right? It's like the dungeon. Anywho, so Anna, first share with us why you chose Arthur. I mean, I adore Arthur, and he has a strong history in the Bronx, but now this is going to be on record for New York, for the next generations to come to have access to. Why was Arthur Avilés chosen?
So the Hemispheric Institute has a long history engaging performance, politics, scholarship, and activism. And the collection of Arthur's work started to be acquired in 2013. And we started really processing it in the NYU library in 2018. This process of acquisition and archiving, everybody needs to know, this means that Arthur's work will be available forever, right, in perpetuity. I started as director in September 2020. I'm Latina. I'm someone who is committed to performance and who has a background in dance. And I want to signal to people the importance of recognizing embodied practices and dance as a major cultural form that's part of changing New York City, that's part of Latino cultural history, and part of the Bronx as a capital of culture, right, of the late 20th century. And Arthur's work is so remarkable and moving and groundbreaking at the level of modern dance, at the level of political intervention, at the level of establishing, right, institutions and companies, that I was just blown away. And I wanted not to just have one event to commemorate it, but to have a whole series of events and to have Arthur in residence at New York University.
Oh my gosh. And so far it already kicked off, and I know we've got an event happening in October and another one in November, but Arthur, please do share what we have, what you have experienced thus far in this amazing celebration of Arthur Avilés.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, actually, we've been at it for about a year and a half, Ana, is that right?
For a year.
Yeah. And, you know, the pandemic has really, you know, given a blow to all of us. So I'm so glad that we continued our relationship. We continued to make sure that we were going to take the next step. So here we are, we're ready. And we had a really wonderful event on September 13th, speaking with incredible scholars, Puerto Rican scholars that are in the United States. That's Ramon Rivera Severa, who is a really wonderful dance Puerto Rican scholar. And then there's Lawrence LaFontaine Stokes, who has also spoken about it from a little bit more of a social justice point of view of the work. So it's really fascinating, and I'm proud to have like been able to get those two vantage points to come in to it. So our next event is October 13th, and that is going to be an event with Rhina Valentin and Elizabeth Macha Marrero, who is my cousin and a drag king. Basically, it is around speaking about, let's say matriarchal image. And I say that in that way, but I don't really mean that. I mean like I mean more of a kind of a feminine vantage point to my own soul personally, because that's what you represented, Rhina, and Elizabeth Macha Marrero, who I put together a dance piece. I call it a dance piece, but it really was a theater piece, which is really strange.
I was just going to correct you on that because, you know, I even introduced you as a dancer and a choreographer, but, you know, you wrote a theater piece and you directed a theater piece. So we also didn't mention Arthur Avilés typical theater. And I also, before you continue, I also want to mention the fact that you were already tapping into the importance of mental wellness, because Super Maya Vadeas represented that in just kind of aligning the different aspects of who we are as individuals.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, and artists are such narcissists. You know, we're talking about ourselves, but we do it through other people. And absolutely, it is about being able to find wellness within the mind and the body. And Super Maya Vadeas was about a young girl who was growing up in the Bronx, who was grappling with who she was, what her identity was, how she felt in the world. And the way in which it attacked her was from different personalities. So every personality that was in The Wizard of Oz was actually coming into this character. And it was kind of funny to watch Rhina Valentin just change character again and again and again. She was like confused. She was wondering, who was she? And then there's this tornado that happens that we all know about, that's in our minds and in you know, the fable in itself, and it lands. And all of those ideas get mixed up, they get brought into one whole person. So it's not to negate all of those voices that are inside of you that are speaking viscerally to you, telling you, no, 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 you can't go this way, you can't go that way, you can't do this, or you can do that. And some of them smacking you, some of them actually being very benevolent to you. They're all valid, and we're asking them all to come together within one whole person to create balance. And that's what happens at the end of the piece. And so I will be speaking with Rhina and with Elizabeth about the creation of that. Personally, for me, it's a certain kind of feminine energy that lives within me that expresses itself in a much more balanced way. So that's going to be October 13th. That is going to be live streamed.
Yes.
And, yeah. And then there's November 16th. I will be presenting some of my works on the body of a really wonderful dancer named Nikolai Mackenzie, who is from Jamaica. And him and I are really like working on how it is that I can take the work from my body to another body. Still, you know, from the Caribbean. He's dealing with very similar issues of assimilation, very similar issues of being a queer person in a very macho, dominated society and grappling with that. And, but these are abstract dance pieces, and they what do you call it? They feature the revealed body, i.e., I will be naked in these pieces. Actually, I say me, I was naked in those pieces. It will be Nikolai Mackenzie who will bring this role to himself, to his Jamaicanness. We're calling it a Jamaican Bati boy in America. And what we're doing, and my piece is called The Puerto Rican Faggot from America. And what that is really, once again, just grappling with negatives. And that's what BAD was born, is to take those negatives and turn them into positives. So when someone calls me that name, I say, oh, really? Is that the name? Okay, so this is what that name looks like. Take a look at this. This is an example of how it is that you're going to see that. And basically it's, you know, it's visceral dancing. It's following a technique that I call swift flow. And it's in Nikolai's body. He has an affinity for the technique that I use. He has an affinity for the theme that I was using, which is basically taking negatives and turning them around, and embodying them.
Oh my gosh. You know, again, you know, I can sit here and listen to you speak all day long, and we're already out of time, Arthur. But I think you gave our viewers a taste of what's in store, right? And again, he just basically gave it in as quick of a synopsis of what's to come, because the celebration once again is Naked Vanguard, the Arthur Avilés Archive in motion, and who you heard speaking earlier was Ana Dopico, who is the first Latina to serve in the role as the NYU Hemispheric Institute as director, and then of course there's the famous, legendary Arthur Avilés, representing the Bronx, representing inclusivity in being out like that.
Yeah.
We love that. And we love that about you. Thank you for bringing it to our viewers. And you guys, once again, for the upcoming events. Oh my gosh, there's my phone. Anyway, for you guys, the upcoming events that are taking place regarding Naked Vanguard, the Arthur Avilés Archive in motion, you can visit badbronx.org, and or you can also visit the Hemispheric Institute.org. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a young adult novel that's hitting the shelf this week. Don't go anywhere.